3 of my patients died from this mistake. 3 people I couldn't save. Not because medicine failed them, but because nobody told them what I'm about to tell you. Every morning starts with coffee. And while I drink this cup, I'm going to walk you through 10 facts about coffee that will completely change how you think about your health. Your doctor probably won't tell you any of this. Not because they're hiding it, but because you've never asked the right questions. I'm going to show you what coffee actually does inside your body. The good, the dangerous, and the part that's probably messing with your medications right now without you even knowing it. First, 10 minutes after drinking coffee, you feel the urge to use the bathroom. Not to urinate, the other one. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Most people think it's the caffeine. It's not. It's the bitterness hitting your tongue that triggers your stomach to release gastrin. Gastrin cranks up your gut motility, that wave-like contraction that moves everything through your digestive tract. This happens even with decaf because it's not about caffeine. It's about bitter taste receptors on your tongue sending signals to your gut. 10 minutes later, you're heading to the bathroom. If you've experienced this, you know I'm right. Second, coffee keeps you awake. Obviously, it's a stimulant. But here's what most people don't understand. It's not just giving you energy. It's lying to your brain. The longer you stay awake, the more adenosine builds up in your system. Adenosine binds to receptors in your brain and makes you feel sleepy. It's your body's natural shutdown signal. Coffee doesn't destroy adenosine. It blocks the receptors so your brain can't receive the message. You're exhausted, but your brain has no idea. Even after the caffeine wears off, those receptors stay jammed for hours. Do this every day, and you're not just losing sleep. You're destroying your circadian rhythm. That's the internal clock that tells your body when to sleep and when to wake up. When that breaks, everything breaks. Melatonin production drops. Your cortisol curve flattens. You stop waking up naturally, and you can't fall asleep at night. Coffee is fine. Coffee is even beneficial. But it belongs in the first half of your day, and you need to respect the dose. What about instant coffee? Those 3-in-1 packets people keep in their desk drawer. Do those count? Yes. It's not about the type of coffee. It's about caffeine dose and timing. And here's something that surprises everyone. Espresso doesn't have the most caffeine. A barista once explained this to me. Caffeine extraction depends on contact time between water and grounds, and total volume. A shot of espresso is concentrated, but it's brewed fast. A French press sits for 4 minutes. Same amount of grounds, but the French press can deliver double the caffeine because the water has more time to pull it out. So don't just watch how much you drink. Watch how it's brewed. Right now, as I'm drinking this, my heart rate is climbing. My pupils are dilating. I feel sharp, alert, ready to move. That's because coffee activates your sympathetic nervous system, the part responsible for fight or flight, energy, action. But when you do this every single day, your body adapts. Coffee stops working. That's why people drinking 10 cups a day aren't buzzing anymore. They're not alert. Their heart rate doesn't jump. They've built tolerance, and now they're drinking it just to feel normal. It's not helping them. It's maintaining a baseline they destroyed. It takes about a month off coffee to reset that response. A full month. And let me tell you, those first 2 weeks are brutal. If you have anxiety, panic disorder, or any psychiatric condition, please cut out caffeine entirely. Not just coffee. Everything. Fourth fact, and this one's critical, coffee spikes adrenaline. Your adrenal glands fire, and you feel that surge of energy everyone knows about. Adrenaline. But nobody talks about ghrelin. Ghrelin is your hunger hormone. The more ghrelin in your blood, the hungrier you feel. Coffee suppresses ghrelin. That's why it kills your appetite, and why every fat burner on the market contains caffeine. It helps your body mobilize stored fat and makes you less hungry at the same time. Here's a question I get constantly. I'm doing intermittent fasting. I only eat during a 6-hour window in the evening. Can I drink black coffee while I'm fasting? Yes. If it's black, no sugar, no cream, no butter. It's almost 0 calories. You're not breaking your fast. In fact, coffee stimulates bile production, which can actually help if you're prone to gallstones or have a sluggish gallbladder. That bile movement during a fasted state keeps things flowing and prevents sludge buildup. So 1 or 2 cups of black coffee in the first half of the day while fasting, that's not sabotage. That's support. Drop a comment. What's your favorite coffee, and how many cups do you drink per day? I want to know who the real champion is here. Be honest. 5th fact. Coffee is a drug. It creates dependence. The global coffee trade moves tens of millions of bags every year, and it's growing. Why does that matter? Because you'll find studies claiming coffee reduces cardiovascular disease, prevents prostate cancer, lowers diabetes risk, and just as many studies saying the exact opposite. I think the coffee industry has its fingers in some of that research. So be skeptical. Don't trust modern science blindly, because a lot of it isn't designed to protect your health. It's designed to sell products. And here's what nobody wants to admit. If you're constantly spiking cortisol and adrenaline, you're burning out your adrenal glands. There's a condition called adrenal fatigue. Some call it HPA axis dysfunction. When you rely on stimulants every day, your adrenals get exhausted. Eventually, coffee stops working. You feel tired all the time, no matter how much you sleep. You'll know you've hit that wall when coffee doesn't wake you up anymore, and you're dragging yourself through the day even after 8 hours of rest. That's because your cortisol curve is broken. Your body can't produce the natural morning spike that's supposed to wake you up. And if you try to quit cold turkey after drinking 10 cups a day, expect withdrawal migraines. Same mechanism as alcohol withdrawal. Vasoconstriction followed by rebound dilation. Your brain's blood vessels slam open, and the pain is blinding. You're going through withdrawal, just like any other drug. Yeah, you're a caffeine addict. So am I. It's the most socially acceptable addiction we have. If you're serious about your health and want to understand what's actually happening inside your body, I've got a free webinar on testosterone optimization. Links below, go register, watch it, and get the information most doctors won't give you in a 15-minute visit. 6th fact. Caffeine is a performance-enhancing drug. That's why the World Anti-Doping Agency used to set limits, up to 500 milligrams per day, roughly 2 to 3 cups. Olympic athletes could drink that much, but most avoid it completely. Why? Because depending on the roast, the grind, the brew method, the same amount of grounds can give you anywhere from 50 to 400 milligrams of caffeine. It's too unpredictable. They don't risk it. For regular people, the safe upper limit depends on who you ask. Some say 500 milligrams. Some say 600 to 800. I think 2 shots of espresso per day, around 300 to 350 milligrams total, is reasonable. I'll post a caffeine chart in my Telegram channel so you can calculate your own intake. Check it out if you want precision. 7th fact. Coffee always raises blood pressure. Actually, no, not if you've been drinking it regularly for years. Smart doctors won't tell you to quit coffee if you have stage 1 or stage 2 hypertension and you've been a daily drinker, because your body has adapted. You've built tolerance. Your blood pressure probably doesn't spike anymore. 8th fact. Coffee dehydrates you. Yes and no. Let's say I'm drinking 7 ounces of coffee right now. If I made a shot of espresso with the same grounds, I'd get roughly the same caffeine in a much smaller volume. Caffeine does have a mild diuretic effect. It makes you urinate slightly more. But this mug still contains 7 ounces of water, and most of that compensates for the loss. Now, if you're a trainer and you see clients chugging energy drinks before or during a workout while they're sweating, that's a problem. Please stop them. There's a popular mix among serious athletes. Ephedrine, caffeine, aspirin. It does mobilize fat. It does boost endurance. But you're not gaining anything. You're borrowing energy from your future self, and you'll pay it back with exhaustion, headaches, mood crashes, and long-term damage. Energy doesn't come from a can. Your body produces energy. Stimulants just force you to burn through your reserves faster. If you're tired, don't reach for an energy drink. That's not fuel. That's debt. Here's a question. If you had to choose between an energy drink and coffee before a workout, which is safer? Depends what's in the energy drink. If it's got 2 or 3 times the caffeine, plus other stimulants and tons of sugar, then yeah, coffee is safer. Or just take a caffeine pill where you know exactly what you're getting. But pre-workouts? I hate them. I think they should be banned. They don't improve your health. They don't make you stronger. If you want me to make a full breakdown of what's actually in pre-workouts and why most are trash, say it in the comments. I'll do it. After drinking coffee, you feel less hungry, but your stomach starts rumbling. Sometimes you get a bitter taste in your mouth, maybe even heartburn. Why? Because coffee stimulates gastrin, and gastrin increases stomach acid production. The more bitter the coffee, the more gastrin, the more acid. If you have acid reflux or gastritis, adding a splash of cream or a little sugar can actually help. It cuts the bitterness, which lowers the gastrin response, which reduces acid production. That might prevent a flare-up. Here's another question. People say black Americano is healthy, but adding sugar or milk makes it 5 times worse. True? Not really. The fear of combining sugar and caffeine mostly comes from energy drinks, where you've got extreme amounts of both. In that context, yes, it's bad. But in coffee, with a reasonable amount of cream or sugar, you're fine. If you're drinking a moderate amount of coffee, adding cream and sugar won't destroy you. And now, the most important one. Number 10. This is the part that could actually kill you. Coffee and medications. I see it all the time. Friends, patients, random people at the gym, taking their morning pills with coffee. They think it doesn't matter, that it won't interfere. That is the single most dangerous misconception in this entire video. Coffee and caffeine interact with medications in 3 major ways. First, absorption. That's how much of the drug actually gets into your bloodstream. Ibuprofen, for example, absorbs very differently, depending on whether you take it with coffee or water. You could end up with dangerously high levels or almost none, just from 1 cup. Second, metabolism. That's how the drug circulates and acts inside your body. Caffeine can amplify the effects of blood thinners, antidepressants, and psychiatric medications. You think you're taking a normal dose, but the caffeine doubles or triples the impact. Third, elimination. Caffeine makes you urinate more. Some medications leave your body faster than they should. The drug doesn't stay in your system long enough to work, so you'd need a higher dose, or it just stops being effective. And here's something else. Chronic coffee consumption depletes B vitamins, calcium, and magnesium. If you're a heavy drinker, you should be supplementing. Otherwise, you're setting yourself up for bone loss, muscle cramps, and nervous system problems. So here's the real question. Knowing all this, why do I still drink coffee? Because I'm not dogmatic. I don't turn anything into a miracle or a poison. Even water can kill you. Drink 10 liters in 1 sitting and you'll die from water intoxication. A person can die from caffeine overdose, but in other situations, caffeine might actually save someone's life. It all comes down to dose and timing. So yes, I drink coffee. Yes, I know the risks and the benefits. And now you do too. Now you know not to take medications with coffee. Now you know not to drink too much. Now you know not to drink it in the evening. Now you know how much caffeine you're actually consuming. You're not going to swing to extremes. If you're drinking 1, 2, maybe 3 cups a day in the first half of the day, then honestly, it's a mild cardiovascular workout. It probably does support longevity. And if you approach coffee intelligently, instead of drowning yourself in it, I do think it lowers your risk of heart disease. I think it helps you live longer. I think it reduces your risk of certain cancers. I'm not against coffee. I'm against ignorance. And I hope today's video just made you a little bit smarter. Thank you for staying with me. I hope you didn't just listen. I hope you actually heard me. Have a great day. I'll see you soon.